What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the sixth element of hip hop. We got some special guests in the building today from the MacroVerse. I'm your host, Reno Noir. This is my co-host here, Sada and Stu Dog. Welcome, Adam and Eben from the MacroVerse. What's up, guys?
What's up?
How's it going?
Salute to Corey Adger in the building. Slade in the building. What's good, guys? All right, so I first of all, let me give a big shout out to my man Al Mega from Comic Crusaders, who may or may not pop in tonight for hooking us up with you guys. He definitely made the connection, and so big salute to them. And the MacroVerse, guys. So let's just jump right into it, man, because I gotta know what's going on here. So you guys have on your Instagram on the thing, and it says you've got like this little equation. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Marvel plus Netflix times BlockChain. Am I reading that right?
You are reading that right. Yes.
Yep.
Tell me what does this mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
Wow. What does it all mean? I mean, there are
What
a
does
lot
it all mean?
to that question, but as far as MacroVerse is concerned, I think there's really a few different things that we care about. So one is empowering creators and fans and kind of everyone in the equation of making and consuming awesome content, specifically comics in this case, to let those people all realize value from their participation in that process. So that's one thing that we care a lot about in that equation. Mm-hmm. Number two is we are writers, directors, storytellers, people that have made tons of content over the past 25 years. And Adam and myself and our third co-founder, who's not with us tonight, if you can point a finger at a type of media, we've probably had something to do with it in one way or another. And so coming at things from that perspective, we believe that the next generation of worldwide franchises are going to be built somewhere along the lines of what we're doing, and we're just arrogant enough to think that we're going to do that. So that's the Marvel piece of it. And the Netflix piece of it is that we've developed a platform and an app and an experience that is designed to bring these next generation franchises to the masses in a meaningful, fun, experiential way that when you bring those things together, it's pretty darn powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. When Al told me, he said, you guys were bringing comics and crypto together. What does he mean by that? How are you doing that?
Well, it depends on how you want to talk about crypto, and we could have 20 different conversations about that. Right. But I think the fundamental piece here is comics, digital comics specifically, and a kind of next generation digital comics format that we've invented, and collectability. So, I'm a lifelong comics fan. I learned to read from comics. I've got 25 plus long boxes of comics that I've collected since I was, 7 years old. If you look behind me, I'm in the middle of moving, but if you were to look behind me, boxes, there are shelves and shelves and shelves of graphic novels going back, 15 plus years.
Oh, wow.
IDW artist edition of The Rocketeer over here. This is something that I'm deeply passionate about, this industry, and always have been. I got out of comics for a while, making all this other stuff that we've done over the course of our career, at least professionally. But have just always believed that, this art form is truly unique and has, things that it can do that no other form of media can do. And for those of us that get that comics bug, we get sometimes obsessed, or whatever the right term might be there. And so being able to kind of reinvigorate this for a next generation, for an audience that does live online. I mean, let's be real about it. It's like, my kids are much more interested in what's happening on their devices than what's happening out in the quote unquote real world. So being able to bring this to kind of where we think all this is going, that's a big part of how we got here and kind of why we're approaching it this way. And so when we talk about crypto, it's less the cryptocurrency piece of it, although that plays into the equation just because of the way the infrastructure and the technology works right now. It's more about what does the technology that this is built on allow us to do that we could never do before. And step one of that is just collectability, being able to own a digital object, which you just could not do and cannot do without a blockchain underneath it.
Right. Stu, you know more about this than me, about the about how that all works. You probably have some questions that I don't even know to ask.
Well, I'm just soaking up the information, and I will have.
Well, hit us with the hard questions whenever you're.
So this is your
So that's our little link in bio on Instagram.
Your link in bio, right? And walk me through this. What am I looking at here? The Bushidos.
Yeah, so Bushidos is a cool project. This is one. There's a couple of things that we found as we've been in this space. So maybe it's worth a real quick background. Prior to Web3 and NFTs, we actually launched this product, the first version of this product, our mobile app, about 2.5, almost 3 years ago now. And we started without any blockchain or NFTs or any of that because we hadn't been exposed to that yet. So we started with a traditional comics app, this new format that we created called a Tap Story. And we have about 100 creators that we worked with, put out about 500 episodes on the app. Then we fell down this whole Web3 rabbit hole. And one of the cool things that's come from that is that Bushidos and many other projects that we're now working with were born in the world of NFTs. So in these kind of collectible digital objects. And so whether you're looking at zombies or these kind of sci-fi samurai characters, this is a way for you to actually own a character in these different universes that we're building. And so Bushidos, for example, like you might collect this kind of sci-fi samurais that exist in this world. And you now own that character. Just like if you created Deadpool, just like created Boba Fett, like you own actual, the rights to that character. And so we've developed a whole process where in the community with the fans, they can develop that character and pitch that character and have stories around that character and adventures with that character. And if those characters get quote unquote green light, they get the green light into production by the community, then we make content with those characters and they become canonical, real, quote unquote real characters in the lore. And the people do that choose to kind of go down that road get to participate in all the revenue and all the ancillary benefits of actually owning that character. So, you showed your Cable t-shirt earlier, and I said I was listening to Rob Liefeld talk about creating Cable earlier today. Right. He is one of those creators that has participation in Cable and Deadpool and Domino and all the characters that he created at X-Force. Every time there's a toy made, every time there's a game made, every time, there's new comics, he gets a piece of that. And this allows us to do that for anyone that chooses to participate in that process, which is pretty darn cool, if you ask me. And I'm talking really cool. I was going to take over now.
So these right here, these NFTs right here, they're on OpenSea. So I can go on OpenSea and buy these right now if I wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so this will bring you to our website and shows you some of the series that are coming up.
Darkland.
So you guys have actual media like comics and and like on. So and you have them set up as a blockchain and as an NFT at the same time. Am I correct?
Yeah,
in a blockchain, but as an NFT.
Fill that in a little bit. Yes.
Yeah. No, it's so.
So you guys are, because there's 3 kinds of blockchains. So which ones? What are you using? Using the permission, the federated, or the public?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Say that again.
And I said there's 3 types of blockchains because I'm just trying to. I know you guys know, but I'm just trying to help educate everybody watching and listening. So there's 3 types of blockchains. Well, what blockchain are you guys using?
We're building on Ethereum, simply, mostly because it's
so you've been off the Ethereum network. Are you using the public blockchain or permission?
Yeah, public blockchain on Ethereum.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the actual comics that we're constructing. So we're building. What are we talking? End of April is going to be the kind of official launch of the blockchain comics that we're producing. So essentially we're going to be launching with a raft of 5 different series. We wanted to kind of, as opposed to having just one story that was out there, because that obviously gets a little hit and miss, we felt like we wanted to launch with a handful of series that we love that would speak to different audiences. So we've got Bushido's, which is this, actually originated in Web3, and then we created the story for it. We got with the community and we created the backstory, and then we created kind of a core story that is told in comic form. And then, like everyone was saying, actually the most fun part of it has been this working with the community, with the existing community, to help new writers tell stories, and then find people, help them, kind of teach them how to tell a compelling story, and then work with them once they've got a script and make sure it works, and then compare them up with established comics artists. And so we've got a collection of Eben, 6 now, like Bushido's short stories, like 8-page shorts that are really cool and are from writers from all over the world.
And where can we go to see the stories?
So you can't just yet. That's the real.
That's the coming soon part.
Coming soon part. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So
you guys have a Discord, right?
We do have a Discord, and so we share a ton of sneak peeks and kind of what's going on with the community there. So we're kind of sharing the process and the journey as we build all this stuff, as well as bringing people into the process. And you can get our traditional app, which is on iOS and Android right now, which has 50 series on it.
Oh, okay. I've never seen anybody come up with. How'd you guys come up with this idea? Like this is kind of like this is like next gen type stuff right here. This is definitely the future. I said because NFTs have been around for years, and people, but now that the digital ones are really big now, this is what you guys are doing is like next level. Yeah, this is next level.
And like our viewers,
how'd you come up with this?
Adam.
Yeah. Well, I think, much like Eben, like I grew up, I learned to read on Asterix. I grew up collecting 2000 AD back in the day. And so Eben had produced a series called The Boondock Saints, a comic series called The Boondock Saints, having the two of us having kind of, written some scripts and sold some stuff and had some things optioned in the traditional kind of LA Hollywood.
Wait, back up. You mean Boondock Saints as in the movie?
As in the movie.
You made that?
Not the movie. We did a graphic novel.
But you made them. Oh, dude, I love Boondock Saints, yo. That is dope. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm stuck over here.
No, it's awesome.
Hell yeah.
There was convention circuits with Troy Duffy and pre-Walking Dead Norman Reedus and all that fun stuff.
Right, Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
Oh man,
lots of fun. So, and actually, that is largely what brought us to this. So when you say it's the combination of all these things. I think when you look at Adam and Ricky and who's our third co-founder and myself, it's like I do like to say like our superpower here is that we actually know how to make all this stuff. And so I think when we started connecting those dots, the Boondock Saints graphic novel really was the final piece of the puzzle, because we were already working in gaming and film and animation and all these other things. And again, sort of being a lifelong comics fan, I thought I was going to go up to draw comics and ended up making all this other stuff.
You thought you were going to grow up to be Superman. Let's be honest.
First part. There as well, yes. Not afraid of that. I did think I was going to go to be Superman. But as I got this opportunity to put this graphic novel series for the Boondock Saints together, over the course of my career, I think the thing I've gotten the best at is say yes and then figure it out. And I think this is good advice for anybody that wants to make stuff. Is like, you want to do X? Do you know how to do X? yes. And then you get off the phone and go like, okay, how am I going to do this? Who do I need to, who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to bring together to make this happen? And so that's what I did with this graphic novels. I knew it should be a graphic novel. We pitched, Troy and the rest of the team. We ended up working with Sony on putting it all together because they were putting out the second movie. And in that process, I had to go find a publisher and I had to go find the distribution. And we put together deals with Barnes & Noble and the whole convention circuit and, working with the actors and like all those pieces. And so as an independent comic project, like we got this really fascinating 360-degree view of the comics industry and what does it take to produce essentially indie comics, but with a property that people love. And so, we got the lines around the convention center and security shutting us down because, why are there so many people with tattoos here? And, all of that kind of stuff. So it's an incredible experience. And we came out of that. And I remember some conversations that Adam and I had afterwards going like, we want to make more stuff this way. But looking at how that all worked, we knew that it was going to be a challenge without that franchise, without the existing intellectual property. And so we, being kind of, I don't know, either stupid or brilliant, depending on how you want to context it, we said, let's, instead of making more stuff traditionally, let's kind of take a look at what we think we could do that would be really unique and different. And so we spent about 2 years prototyping what is this digital comics format that is different, that makes more sense as a digital comics format. So if you look at our app right now, we've created this thing called a tap story. And instead of it being a PDF on an iPad, it's, you tap through a series of images and those images tell the story. And so it's a little different, like the scroll of web. It puts more tools in the toolbox for creators. And so that's what we started with. Once we found that, we were like, we've created something pretty special here for telling stories on digital devices. And it's, it's still true to the art form, but it's not doing, what's kind of been done before. And so that was what kicked this all off. Like once we kind of found that format and we knew we had these stories we wanted to tell, started talking to other creators and finding that they had stories that they wanted to tell, that we could do this in a way that made more economic sense than traditional web comics or digital comics. And then that just all led into discovering, during the pandemic, the kind of rise of NFTs and crypto and all the stuff that was going on then. And those dots just all got connected. And so for us, it was pretty seamless and apparent to go like, okay, this thing that we've already built and this new technology that's emerging and getting a lot of attention and traction, it just makes sense to put these things together. And so, we've spent the last now 18 months, rebuilding this whole platform, and here we are.
Man, it's incredible. Really is. And so now are you guys are comic writers first? I mean, that's your passion, right?
I would say writers and creators of all kinds of stuff. But yes.
Right. But I think that was part of what led us into this was
sure.
We had written a couple of scripts together. We had, and it had been optioned. We'd got to do some kind of have some fun in the traditional Hollywood space. But what we realized was both of our jobs, we were making stuff for other people, which is fun, but is not quite as satisfying, right? And then even if you sell a script in LA or wherever in Hollywood, the chance of that getting made are slim to none. Like most of the time it's going to sit on the shelf gathering dust. And Eben having found his way back into comics and both of us having loved comics as kids, we were like, well, hang on a second. If we take what we've done and we make a comic of this, we write comics, we can get the fun of actually creating stuff. We can see what we have written kind of out in the world. We get to interact with people. We get to show it to people. People get to read this. It's not just going to die on a shelf. Right. And that was part of the incentive of the whole thing was like, let's do something that we can actually make stuff,
Yeah, that's brilliant. That people are going to see.
People are going to see, exactly.
Yeah, and so actually, Adam wrote the Bushido series. If you go over a click or two, you'll see Dead Town. That's one that we created and wrote together. Darkland is from another phenomenal artist. Like we've been very fortunate with the creators that we've been able to work with, as well as the stuff that we've been able to make ourselves.
Yeah, and just for the if you guys can't see, people watching, just read this for you. It says Bushido's sci-fi samurai intergalactic adventures. That just sounds dope. And then you got Darkland, Game of Thrones in Hell. Like, come on, like this
It's
is
a
just,
lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, Hex 11, Harry Potter meets Blade Runner. Come on, guys, this is like this is brilliant. And then you got Deadtown, neo noir power players after the apocalypse. I don't even know what to say. What is that? Tell me about this one. This is very interesting.
So Deadtown is fun and actually is the genesis in a lot of ways of Adam and I working together as collaborators. I mean, we had done some other stuff ahead of before that, but this was the one where we really kind of built the whole thing together. So, you know, Deadtown started as an idea for essentially taking film noir movies, which we loved, and especially like Touch of Evil. So, like, you know, very much noir genre, like really leaning into that aesthetic and kind of writing style, storytelling style, and marrying that with a zombie movie. So if you could take, like, you know, one of the ideas early on was like, if you could take the incredible wizardry of modern special effects, but do it in a film noir 1940s classic style and like put the things together, and it's this, you know, post-apocalyptic zombie apocalypse, like, you know, how cool would that be? And then the other big kind of twist on it was that this story is really not about the zombies. This is about a world where we've just all gotten used to the fact that this apocalypse has happened. So we've learned to live with, you know, kind of 10 years before COVID, we've kind of learned to live with, there's this thing out there that might not be good, and we still have to find a way to live our lives. And so, you know, that becomes the backdrop for this, you know, story that unfolds, and essentially, you know, in broad strokes, is this, you know, this main character Chan, who lost his family in the outbreak, essentially is now dead inside and has to find his way back to some sort of humanity over the course of the story. And then at the same time, there's, you know, crazy action and, you know, lots of cool characters and fun stuff all around it. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, so like noir and post-apocalyptic, these are two of my favorite genres of anything, and then you put them together, this is like definitely my thing. I just want to read this to people. It says, neo-noir power players after the apocalypse, an edgy reimagining of the hard-boiled thriller. Deadtown follows a classic anti-hero as he plies his trade in a post-apocalyptic near future overrun by zombies. Our lead is Chan, a man who lost his family during the outbreak and now leads a nihilistic existence as the leader of one of the many brutal militias in town. He cares for nothing and nobody, showing contempt for both his own life and those around him. Things start to shift when he meets Kirsten, a young girl whose parents have been killed and now scrapes by on the street. He saves her from an assailant and reluctantly finds himself shoved into her father figure role, completely disrupting what had become his new normal. Fundamentally, Deadtown is the story of Chan's rebirth and redemption, and his journey from being as soulless as the zombies surrounding him to the leader in the fight for humanity's survival. Come on, y'all.
Indeed.
It's like, you know what? It gives me vibes of Last of Us.
You know, I'm a little annoyed now.
I know, and I didn't want to say that because I don't mean to say that it's like it, but I just sort of get the kind of, if you like Last of Us, you'll probably like this.
For sure. Yeah, it's a very different world. Like, we've got, you know, some, you know, the little teaser, there's like, you know, some technology elements to it, which we really at the time. Like, there's
the
some
noir aspect
that it's definitely different.
Very
very
unique.
You know, it also, we were actually just talking about this maybe a week ago, where it's like, you know, the whole trend of the like father figure shepherding the younger person through this dangerous world, whether you're talking about The Last of Us or The Mandalorian, or it's like, you can kind of like
and hope.
stick at it, and, you know, we're finding some version of that. So we literally just have a twist that we came up with, which is going to kind of turn that formula on its head in Deadtown, because we don't want to just be following that trend, even though technically we came up with it first.
Right. Hey.
Yeah, we wrote this, first wrote this, what, 10 years ago now, 11 years ago, I think it was.
Right.
You know, this was one of the things we were kind of shopping around, which was just pre-Walking Dead, and then Walking Dead happened, and kind of, you know, nix this, and Walking Dead's amazing. So yes.
Yeah. And I think you hit it on the head when you said that it was not about the zombies, but about the, you know, and I think that's what is that's what is great about Walking Dead is it's not just like a zombie horror movie. It's more about the people and what they go through and dealing with other people and basically just dealing with the apocalypse, dealing with this dystopian world that we live in. And that's what people find interesting, man. So that's perfect.
And then just to bring it back around to the NFT side, like if you can see the screen, you can see these characters animating, up at the top.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you that. Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you, can you buy the characters that are in the comic?
Not only can you buy the characters, I think we were one of the first, if not the first, people will debate, to create a custom character maker for NFTs. So you create your own zombies and your own characters in the world, as opposed to just pulling the slot machine and hoping you get one that you like. And so you can do that right now. Like you can click, make your character, take you to the page where you customize and create your character, choose the attributes and the look and the background and the feel that they have, and then collect those and bring them to us to tell stories with.
See, I dig that. I like that much better. To be able to create my own NFT. It's like, it's my symbol. This is my NFT. Like, this is my joint, and I own this, and this is my logo, and this is what it looks like because I created it.
Think about it. One of the things that we, for better or worse, like we've shied away to a degree from the highly speculative side of a lot of this, because I think it's the technology piece of it that we think has the real long-term value here. And that's not to say that we don't care about, things that become more valuable over time. We of course hope that they do, but that's not the point. Like the point for us is about creating these worlds and letting people play in these worlds. So, we had this, conversation early on of, perhaps even to our detriment of, saying like, what if you could create your own characters as opposed to, again, sort of pulling the lever and hoping you get something that you like.
Yeah.
And if it's about creating emotional attachment to characters, like you kind of need to do that. It's like when you start a video game and you get to customize the character that you're going to play out in the game, right? So it's like now you care about that experience more than, well, I got this. Do I like it? Do I not like it? Do I want to sell it? Do I want to keep it? How much is it worth? And so we're just kind of optimizing for different things in that scenario. And then we have something you can actually do with them. So we, when we talk to other projects, sometimes we say like, we're the answer to like, I got an NFT, now what? So it's like, in our system, come do stuff with that.
Well, that's a big, I know a lot of people that, that aren't into it yet. That's why they aren't into it. Cause they're like, okay, well, what do I do with it? Like, why am I doing that? And why is this little nothing image worth money? What are you talking about? It's worth money. I don't even know what that means. So, and I know a lot of people watching right now that's what, a lot of people, that's how they see it. And, I don't know. Is there a way you could break that down for somebody that just doesn't get it?
I always want to talk about my kids, but Adam, go. You take.
No.
Well, is it sort of similar like when you play a video game? I mean, I understand NFTs, but a better way to explain it is it like when you play a video game and you buy like a skin or something like that, you own it.
Yeah.
I mean, but in this case, if it's ever used again by somebody else, then they have to pay you revenue for it.
Oh, but why? Okay, but explain why they have value.
Let's take it back a step. So why does anything have value? So I mean, now we're going to get to like esoteric piece of
right.
Esoteric.
I mean, truly, nothing has value unless we agree that it has value. So whether we're talking about money or the comics behind you on the wall, it's like, any New Mutants 98 is only going to be worth what somebody else is going to pay for it, right? So I mean, there's an element of that, which is just like there's a marketplace for these things. People like them, some people don't like them, but as long as some people want them and other people have them, there's going to be value accrual that happens there. So that's essentially that. But I think that's a different question than to like, should they have value? And I think there's a legitimate question around that in some cases. What's up, Al? So, I think that our point of view on that is that some things will have more value than others. And for us, the way I love to kind of put this in context is two things. One is, I'm going to take the chance to talk about my daughter. So, my daughter has become obsessed with Roblox. It was just Easter yesterday, and rather than asking for money, what she wants is Robux. So arguably digital currency. And then what does she use that digital currency on? Digital items in a
It's
game,
like V-Bucks and Fortnite.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
Now, here's the difference. In Roblox or Fortnite, you spend that digital currency. First of all, you buy that digital currency. The only thing you can do with that is spend it on in-game items in that ecosystem. So you can't take V-Bucks from Fortnite and spend it in Roblox or vice versa. Right? You're just closed in there. You can't decide that you don't want those V-Bucks anymore and sell it back to Epic. Right? So it's like that is a one-way street. You buy it, now you got something to spend it on. So let's say you buy that skin in Fortnite, she buys her, pink butterfly wings in Roblox, and now
it reminds me of tokens in arcade when I was a kid.
Yeah, totally. And now you could say like you own a digital item, but do you really own that digital item? Like it's in your account, but let's say you're done with it. Now what? Like basically you threw $20 on threw $20 away on butterfly wings or a particular skin. The difference if it's a NFT is maybe it doesn't go up in value, but maybe you can subsidize that experience by going like, I'm done with this, Deadpool skin, but somebody else will pay me $10 for it. So I lost $10 on that transaction, but it wasn't zero.
Right.
And I think that's the thing that to me is like the real mindset kind of game changer is like, not everything has to get more valuable. But if we can start to think about digital goods the way that we think about, physical goods,
like currency,
we can go have a yard sale and get rid of all the books that we don't care about anymore. We're not going to get more than we paid for them, but we're getting something back for them if someone else wants them, right? And at the moment, we're just throwing money into the digital things that we like and that we consume and get nothing back for that. So I think that's the real kind of change is being able to enable people to actually own these things and treat them like they own these things. And then outside of those ecosystems, how cool would it be if you could take your Deadpool skin from Fortnite and go play a different game with that same skin and not have to rebuy it and something else? And that's a little further off, but that's the future that's coming through this.
Yeah, I see it.
So on your
oh my bad, Steve.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, no, because Al asked, how do you feel about the feds getting into digital money?
Oh boy,
I think I can answer that question.
I can touch that one.
I think I can answer that question. Al is gonna come sooner or later. We'll get their hands in everything. So it's just not a question of how we feel. Is how are we going to deal with it when it happens, tax-wise?
That's right.
That's already true. Yes, but Adam, any additional thoughts on that?
Oh, on the no. I just think we're seeing this tidal wave of legislation is coming for sure. Obviously, we're seeing it right now. Some of it for very good reasons, and some of it for less good, I would say. But no, I would agree with Stu. It's coming whether we want it or not. It's just how do we? Hopefully, we can control some of it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we can control the taxes.
Yeah.
Because once they see how things going, if everybody, because kids nowadays, they like digital media. Like we have a generation, like you say, you have a daughter. I have children, and they value digital media. And what you guys have put together here is something unique and individual, and that. If I've bought NFTs in the past, but moving forward in the future, I wanted to buy more. And if I would actually utilize your platform. It makes sense. And it's built on the Ethereum network, which is very stable. And they just upgraded Ethereum. Now, are you guys working on the upgraded Ethereum? Or
we will get the benefits of that as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And so now, can I trade? Let's say if I'm with Reno. And Reno has a character. Now, are we allowed to trade characters?
Yeah.
Or sell them to each other?
Yep, 100%.
Right, like trading cards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very much like trading cards.
Yeah, but just digital.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, trading cards or comics or any of that. And actually, that's one of the unique things about what we built for the collectible comics editions is that what we've generally seen even on the NFT side is like, oh, you collect a NFT of the cover art, for example. And then once you own that cover art, they'll let you download a PDF of the book or, something like that. And what we wanted to do was figure out a way to actually create a fully collectible digital version of a graphic novel. So the tech that we've built allows us to put all that content into the NFT itself. And so if you and I trade, those NFTs, you actually get the whole book. It's just, it's a digital edition. It's a digital version of it, but it's not just something that gives you access somewhere else. It's like you get all of the content that's included. So it's a much, in our opinion, better way of doing the whole thing.
It is. It is. It keeps the clutter down. You said you have long boxes. Yeah, you said you have 5 long boxes of comics.
25.
Keeps the clutter down.
25.
Woo! That's you definitely will need
and a few minutes before he said he was jealous of my wall. I ain't got no 25 boxes.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I got about 4 good ones. Yeah, I got about 4 good ones, and that's it. Yeah.
This is the guy that created Boondock Saints. Forget about it.
I didn't create Boondock Saints, just to be clear, but we did produce.
Oh, you did? Okay.
We did the.
Now
move
it.
You did the.
Do you guys think you could, in the future, you would have like artists or track artists or try to attract artists like like Alex Parody or Alex Ross or
absolutely,
Todd McFarlane.
I mean, Todd's doing his own thing, like the image guys. I grew up in that era. I love that stuff. It's totally a part of my childhood. In fact, I think there's some really interesting parallels between what happened in the '90s comics market and happening around NFTs and with the bit of the speculative bubble bursting in both. But I think you can kind of track these cycles that happen over and over again. But I think we are already seeing incredible talent get attracted to not just our platform but to the space as a whole. There's a manga artist named Dirty Robot, for example, who is incredibly well known, and I'm shouting him out just because I love his work, not because he's on our platform at the moment. But Bushido's is artist out of Spain. Sorry. Who is incredibly well known as a graphic novelist there. He's got quite a resume under his belt.
Jeremy Booth?
Not Jeremy. Jeremy actually created the NFT collection.
My bad.
On the series is named Nicholas Cole. And just phenomenal in and of his own right. That cover for Hex 11 that you saw on the website, that is Ariel Olivetti, who a lot of people know from Hulk and lots of other Marvel covers. This one.
Yeah, look at
that. We've got a bunch of stuff that we haven't announced yet. So we've been very, very fortunate with the creative teams that we've been able to work with and kind of attract to all of this.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. Very, very cool. And these are some of the NFTs for the Bushido.
Yeah. Exactly. So these are a subclass of Bushidos called Ronin. So part of the mythology is that these Bushidos are kind of the protectors of this alien world, and there was a kind of cataclysmic event that happened that required a certain number of them to sacrifice themselves to try to stop an invasion that was pending or impending. So through that event, they were transformed into these Ronin characters. And so there's a whole portion of the story around, how did that happen? Why did that happen? What does it mean? Are they still the same person that they were before? Are they something different? Spoiler alert, both.
Right, okay. Now these are on OpenSea, but on your platform, can you tell us how we would go about purchasing them? Like I own crypto, so I can go on OpenSea and I can use ETH, or I can use I don't know, I can use Doge or whatever they take. I can use whatever they take and get on your platform. Could you explain how they would be able to purchase the NFTs or the digital?
Totally. Yeah. So right now, the secondary market activity. So for something like Bushido's, like you would pick that up on OpenSea or one of the other secondary marketplaces. for Deadtown specifically, you can still go and create your own character and mint that directly, as a new NFT in the collection. We will have a marketplace component, but it's a little bit further down our roadmap. So right now we're focused on the comics experience, the ecosystem around that. So you'll see all of the characters on the platform, and we've done some pretty fun things around giving them some gamified mechanics as far as being able to include stats and inventory, and you can actually write a backstory for your character right there on the app, on the platform. Some things that we focused on more on the storytelling and creator side, and the marketplace piece we're kind of letting all the other marketplaces take care of for the moment, and then we'll ultimately integrate that in as well.
But
and you pick their. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say it out loud. Like, the comics once you purchase a comic from us, you will be able to sell that buy and sell that on the secondary market like anything else. So, you'll, even if for the initial purchase comes from our own kind of storefront basically, but then it will, buying and selling everything else happens elsewhere.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of the blockchain too, is it's all, because it is open and permissionless and transparent. Like, we don't have to do anything for any of this stuff to show up on OpenSea and Rarible and, Foundation and like all the other kind of Ethereum based marketplaces. It just propagates out to, all of those platforms. So then it's an interesting, as a product person, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, because it's amazing that they go out everywhere and you have immediate access to them and people can buy and sell and trade them. And then we also have to think about, what do we do on our platform that's unique and, adds a lot of value, so that you want to come to us as a
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. This is true.
But it's very cool.
What made you guys choose Ethereum? As because that's very interesting that you chose Ethereum to do what you're doing. There are other blockchains.
There are many other blockchains. And we investigated a bunch of that. Part of it is, honestly, like, we have an incredible development team, and they were just the most comfortable building on Ethereum, and it's kind of the most robust ecosystem for developers at this point. So, the most tooling and infrastructure has been built, on the Ethereum network. There are certainly other, we've got a collaboration that we're doing, which we haven't announced yet, on Solana. So, we've got some stuff that's going on some of the other chains. But from all of our kind of investigation and talking to our developers, it just felt like it made the most sense to build where the best tools are at the moment. And it's also where the majority, for better or worse, outside of Bitcoin, it's where the majority of the value capture has been.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
kind of both.
Yeah,
of
because
those factors. Yeah.
Have you guys invested in Bitcoin at all?
I have been slowly buying Bitcoin and Ethereum since about 2017. And I got exposed to NFTs actually around 2017 as well. Through a kind of one of the very, very, very early marketplaces that was coming up for artists. We had started to kind of try to figure out, like, how could we do something with that at that point, and could never quite connect those dots until, this last bull cycle. So, we have a little bit of Ethan Bitcoin. Hardly. I wish I had bought about 100 times more of it, to be honest.
Yeah, don't we all? So so I'm just looking at this. These are the NFTs, and then there's the traits.
Yeah,
this looks very cool, but it looks I'm getting like RPG vibes. What are these traits? Yeah. And it says this dual summoner, 5% have this trait and 4% have this trait. Are you trying to get one with the least? Tell me how it works.
It depends on what you care about. So, like a Pokemon card or a Magic card, or, alternate covers for comics. Like, some people really want the rarest, versions of these things. And, by all means, like, this lets you have access to quickly finding what those are. I think when we talk to people about kind of getting involved with our ecosystem, it's like, that's one way to look at, getting characters. And then the other way to look at it, just like, which one do you think looks the coolest? Like, that's
right.
Look at it based on the art and pick the one that you think is the most fit for you. Some people may be a little more cost conscious and go like, well, what's the cheapest one? What's my easiest way into it?
Right.
What you care about, and then there are other, and then for our purposes also, it's like, which one suggests a story, which one is a character that you want to do something with, that you don't want to just stick on the shelf, but that you want to create something around. So it's all those
right.
things.
So then you take this NFT and you create this character and it inject it in the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So basically what you do is working, with Bushido specifically, because the NFT collection existed before the comics. So they had wanted to tell stories. Jeremy Booth, the artist and creator of the whole project, had wanted to tell stories, but didn't have any kind of expertise with that in that realm. And so I can't remember, Evan, how we got connected with him, but he was like, look, come in, teach storytelling in this community, this existing community, because there are people who love these characters. It's exciting, it suggests a great world, but it was a very kind of bare bones initial concept that he had. And so we came in and we spent like 6 weeks, we taught story, and then we taught structure and character development and what to look for. And then people just started pitching. We set up a channel on Discord and they just started throwing in kind of anything from 3-line to like multi-page descriptions of what their character was doing, what the character could be doing. And they're like, great, now let's, we would work with them and like hone in on this, and this is too much, and it's going to be only 8 pages of comics. So how would that figure? And then the community voted, and 6 of these guys got greenlit. So it was very much, and it's the same with our community with the Dead Town characters. We're going to say a similar thing with another group as well. It's you got inspiration. Any of these suggests a cool story. It's like, great, there's a place you can go and pitch that to other people that are fans of this world, and people like it. You're gonna see it in print,
Right.
Well,
or at least see it on screen.
See it on screen.
yeah.
In metaphorical print.
Yes.
Yeah. Digital print.
Now, with creator wise, artist wise, did you find it hard to attract indie artists, or do you think that they just gravitate to the platform naturally?
It's a little bit of both. It requires a lot of conversations. I think the earliest part of my career was as an illustrator and a designer. So like I have an illustration background. I've done professional illustration work and character design and storyboards and kind of all of that kind of stuff as well. So I think I have a little bit of an unfair advantage in that when I talk to people, like I can actually really talk to them about what they do and what their work is like and what their process is like, and like we can have a conversation that I think many traditional kind of comics editors or writers can't necessarily have. So I think that is a little bit of an unfair advantage for me in particular, and that it's like I feel like I'm one of them, and I think it's easy for them to feel like they're we have that relatedness kind of right off the bat. And then the other thing is, I think this is something that you either have or you don't, but I think we have good taste. And so
right.
For looking at artists, I think we don't always match make the obvious choice, but I think we do a really good job of finding the right creator for the right material and then bringing those people together. And I think Adam and I both have also done a lot of work casting actors in various things, and I look at artists, writer material for comics very much like casting for audio or animation or film or TV or anything else, in that it's bringing those right elements together to be able to create the material at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's very interesting. That's very, very interesting. Because like I said, this is a very unique platform moving forward with NFTs and crypto. And being able to not only create your own content, but buy, purchase it, trade it, sell it. Because that's another big thing with this younger community that's into digital media. They always want to be able to trade. They want to be able to trade and oh, I got this, you got that, I'll give you this for that. I mean, I think that's one thing that's lacking when it comes to digital media. But do you guys see any like problems with that in the future? Foreseeable problems or? with the trading, or like.
I don't see any problems with it as long as people know what they're doing, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think and again, I'll bring it back to comics because this is we touched on this. Is like in the '90s speculator boom in the comics industry. You're not talking about the same dollar amounts necessarily, but it's the exact same behavior. So like there were X-Men #1 comes out by Jim Lee. There's 4 different covers that come together to make one giant image. Then there's the 5th one that has the gatefold cover that folds out, or you've got 4 different reprints of Spider-Man #1 by Todd McFarlane, or the polybagged X-Force #1s with all the trading cards. Like people went crazy for that. People that had never bought a comic book before went into comic stores going like, I'm gonna buy 10 copies of X-Men #1.
Yeah.
That's my college fund for my kid.
Oh yeah.
Is the exact same behavior that we saw happen in NFTs over the last year. It got really hyped up.
That's
People thought, I'm going to make a ton of money on this. I'm going to get rich quick. And look, if it's too good to be true, it generally is.
Probably
is. So I think over the long term, some of these things are going to be massively valuable. There's no question about it. But it's the things that have legitimate impact in culture, in entertainment, the things that people end up caring about. The things that people care about 10 years from now will continue to be valuable. The things that people bought just because of the speculation are probably going to zero. Like that's just, look at anything else that is collectible and it's the exact same thing. So I think part of what I like to tell people about NFTs and crypto and anyone that's watching is like, the technology is good. The technology works. There's a real use case and a reason that this stuff exists and that people fall in love with it. Like, I've drunk all the Kool-Aid. I'm the first one to admit it at this point. But
I have too. And I can.
Yeah,
I can definitively say I think it's the future.
I think it's the future too. I think it's the future too.
Do you guys think that?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah. Do you guys think that crypto will eventually replace physical currency?
I don't think that crypto will necessarily replace physical currency, but I think we already see digital transactions replacing most physical currency. I use Apple Pay everywhere I can use it, as opposed to carrying around cash, quite honestly.
Right.
But that's a little different.
Debit card with a chip on it. It's still,
that's a little different.
That's
a little different.
Yeah,
that's a little different. That's
right.
That's turning your money. That's turning your money into ones and zeros.
Yes,
like using crypto, it's like you said earlier.
Yeah,
it's a physical thing, but it's not. It's something that exists, but you will never be able to touch it. You will never be able to feel it. You will never be able to hug it and grab it. You'll never be able to swim in it like Scrooge McDuck. But you have it, and you can use it. So that's my question. Do you think that we could possibly get to a time where, let's say,
people can
70% of our transactions and daily doings are through crypto, and the other 30 might be through some type of physical currency?
Yeah. I mean, my feeling is there are kind of 2 types of crypto, very much like we were just talking about NFTs for speculation versus NFTs that hold real value over time. So there are things like stable coins like USDC, which runs on crypto networks, and one USDC is worth $1, and generally it's always worth $1. And so there's some real advantages to using stable coins like that when you want to send money to someone across the world, for example, and it can be an instant transaction and it reduces the fee associated with a traditional wire. Like that kind of monetary ability to transact quickly and seamlessly is very powerful. And, we've used it with some of our creators that are, around the world. That compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum, though, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are always going to have enough volatility that being everyday spending money doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. So it's like, I want to, and I love this story. So many people probably don't know that when Bitcoin was launched, one of the pilot programs they did to try to get it some adoption was they went to MIT and they offered every student at MIT a
Yes,
small
they
amount,
did.
$100.
Yes, they did.
At that point
That's
was
true.
like,
Yeah.
which was like, thousands of Bitcoin,
Right.
$100.
That's true.
They'd be lovely right now if they still
The
had
year,
it.
and do you know that the year that Donald Trump got inaugurated as president in January, that February, $100 worth of Bitcoin back then was $2.2 million. It was worth $2.2 million.
Yeah.
Well,
so
here's the thing about the MIT thing, which sounds like you probably know, is like half the people kept it and are doing very well now. Half the people spent it as cash at the one place that would take it, which was the pizza place on campus.
Right.
So there's half of that class of MIT that spent what in Bitcoin terms now would be millions of dollars on pizza. Because, why would you? Yeah.
I mean, I still actually own 3 whole Bitcoins.
Yeah,
but
amazing.
Originally when I bought them, I had a ton of them, and I could get Papa John's. Papa John's like it was nobody's business. But I slowly started seeing them creep up in price, and then I slowed down on the pizza. I was like, wait a minute, hold up, slow down on this pizza for a little bit.
Yeah,
and
it's more of like it's more of like a tool to maybe to invest in, and I don't know, make some money or something.
It's like
as like a daily currency, like you said, probably not.
Well, people do it with currency now. They do it with physical currency. People buy and trade physical currency all the time. So it's the same. The only difference is you can't touch it. You can't hug it. Like I said, you can't swim in it.
What I mean by mentally, society being in a place where they can get to like under, a lot of people are, I can't touch it. It ain't real, That place.
But that's what happens to your money when you put it in the bank. It's not really real. It's just ones and zeros.
It goes back to the gaming experience in Fortnite. Just because your Deadpool or your banana costume in Fortnite isn't real, isn't tangible, doesn't mean it isn't very, very real to any of our kids running around playing it. You know what I mean?
That's when I'm playing, right? Yeah, because my youngest son, he plays Fortnite and he loves it. And every time new characters and skins come out, he has. I don't even know how many he has. He told me he has more than close to 100 different skins.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said, and I'm thinking like, we got that many? He was like, yeah, Dad, we've been buying them for the longest. But
you keep buying.
He's really meticulous about
Disney Infinity and Skylanders over there.
There you go. Yeah.
Now that I'm in this world, that's the stuff that drives me a little bit crazy because okay, great. He's invested $2,000 in Fortnite skins, and we will never see $1 of that back.
Nope. And he'll never use a eighth of the skins that he has either.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, because I don't want to get in trouble. Now, I've used this like a couple times now on like a logo and like a flyer and like my thumbnail. Is this like a piece of value right here? Do I have to take that down?
No, you don't have to take it down, but that character is one of the original Bushidos. And so when we looked at the other ones, it was like, those are the Ronin, these are the original Bushido characters.
Right.
And
so what if someone owns this one? That's what I'm not.
So awesome! You just gave them some free publicity.
Okay.
So maybe
okay.
Yeah, she did.
So they want you to use that. Okay, I got you.
A good way to
make their thing famous. I got you.
Yeah.
Like a good way. They think about Arena is the Wu-Tang. Is the Wu-Tang symbol? That's an NFT. It was an NFT when they first made it. When they first drew it up, it was when they put it on the record. On the record labels, and they put it on the tape covers and the record covers. That was an NFT, and RZA owned it like that from the day that they came out. So when you see the Wu symbol, it's the most recognized symbol in the world. People say, and
hip hop,
you can,
and music, music, period,
Because there was a case where somebody somewhere in the world was using the Wu symbol for something, and RZA actually sued him. It was like, you got to take it down. Like this. If you didn't, you got to, if you're making revenue, like if you put it up for free, there's no problem with it. But if you put it up and you get money off it, you owe him some money.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So,
as you should.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is the if you're sharing it because you like it and it helps other people discover it, like that's benefit to everybody. But yeah, if you're trying to monetize it and you don't have the rights to do that, then that's a different
Yeah. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
man. Well, guys, super cool having you on, man. A real pleasure talking to you, getting to know you, and learning about this stuff. Generally, we don't even interview people for a whole hour, so this was awesome, man. You guys full of no, I love it, man. Great, full of information. And I think
we need you guys back. We need you guys back when you actually
and you can see.
So we can,
man, and
when you actually launch your project.
Love it.
Go to the website, guys.
Go to the website, and I'll also say, for anyone that isn't yet, hasn't yet made the jump into this wild, crazy world of Web3 and crypto, check out our regular app, because iOS and Android, just search for MacroVerse. There's a bunch of cool content on there, and it'll give you a feeling for what our format is and kind of what you'll be able to collect down the road.
And this is a really good place to jump in, especially if you're into comics, you're into that kind of thing, and it's got substance. There's something behind it, man. I dig it.
Yeah.
No, we're pretty proud of it. There's a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. Yeah.
Very cool.
A lot of great creators. And I also have to say, like, one of the things that motivates all of this is, really through that Boondock Saints experience, also seeing just how terrible the economics for comics creators are. And so when you look at, the amount of money that people that create indie comics make, most of them are not making even people that have tons of subscribers on Webtoons, most of them are not making a living. So,
even some of the Marvel guys aren't making them.
Even a lot of the Marvel guys are
let's talk about
So our whole thing is, everything we do is fair, value exchange back to the creators as well. Like, it's really important to us. If you subscribe to our traditional app, it's $5 a month. Half of that revenue goes directly back to the creator. So it is the Spotify model that everyone wishes actually exists in music. The people that, you read their stuff, they're directly getting payment for that read. So just, I think it's important to say, if you do like what we're doing, like, this is a direct way to support the people that are making this stuff.
Right.
Thank you, Slade.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Slade, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, you guys see the website down there, and so, I mean, Stu, how long you got? Can you hang out for a little while? You got to go? What?
No, we're good. We're good to go.
You good? All right. So, I mean, if you guys want to hang out, man, we're gonna, continue the rest of the show. We're gonna talk about some more comic and hip hop stuff and do our thing. And you guys definitely welcome to hang out, join the conversation, or if you got to go, I totally understand. We kept you a whole hour. It's up to you, man.
No, it's been great.
Yeah. I'm afraid I'm going to have to jump off, but you guys have been
no worries.
Such a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for having us on.
Please,
definitely welcome back.
Please contact us once you launch and all of that, and get
and
so we can have you back on, and we can maybe dive into the app and do some some surfing, and maybe buy some stuff live, or whatever you guys want to do, man. Whatever you guys want to do, but we definitely want to have you back.
We'll come up with some fun giveaway for the
Love it.
Sounds good. All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again. Thank you, man.
Cheers.
See you on the gram.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, man. Good dudes, man. And again, shout out Al Mega, man, for hooking that up, man. Salute to the Al. Wepa. And let me. So yeah, macroverse.com. I mean, this shit is dope, man. I love the idea behind the NFTs having like substance and having like a story behind them and a character and the whole thing and being part of the story. That's dope to me. It gives it something, meaning, I think. Because a lot of people I hear that are standoffish about NFTs and crypto, that's a lot of what their issue is. They're like, what does it mean? It's not worth nothing. What is it? I don't even get it. Gives them something to kind of grab and hold on to, something tangible.
Yeah. And now you hear that a lot. It's the same thing with electric cars where people just don't get it, but I get it. I don't pay for gas, and gas is cheaper, and electricity is cheaper than gas. I get that part.
Yeah.
People, I guess they gotta actually experience it, Reno, in order to see the benefits of it.
Right.
And how it can benefit them and everybody as a whole. Because like you said, everybody gets an equal share. And Bandcamp is a perfect example where a lot of people that put their stuff on there, they're like, look, man, I like Bandcamp, it can get my stuff out there, but for every $10 that I get, they get, I don't know, 7, or they get 4. I don't, they get 4, I get 5. Same thing in the record industry where artists sell records. They get what, 10 cent, 30 cent.
Yeah,
they get a little piece, man. Like, TLC's a perfect example. They were like,
even like movie stars, they're like, yo, did you get my movie? Did you see my movie? Did you download it, or did you stream it, or did you buy the DVD? Like, if you bought the DVD, I got $1. But if you did anything else, I didn't get shit.
I ain't get nothing, right? Yeah. So it's coming. It's coming, Reno. It's coming. We're gonna be we'll be digitized where digital art. And digital art's really big right now. That's something that's really, really big.
Huge.
Digital is huge. And people are, like you said, they're asking questions. They're like, well, wait a minute. I'm never going to be able to touch it or hang it on my wall unless I get like a special tablet that I can display it on. But and they're like, so what makes it more valuable than the physical painting? The fact that the artist created it is all. That's all it is.
Right. Man. So and let me see here. You see that the website name has changed because y'all know what time it is for Vintage Rush.
Vintage Rush. Get yours,
son. The cable is here. The cable is here. I showed y'all we had the bam, and now it's right here. That's the faded joint. This is the classic. This is the black, solid black joint. I mean, just look at the beautiful. Look at the neck. How tight that is.
Wait, Reno. Just stand with your arms straight out. Just stand with your
elbow
arms straight down.
Look at elbow. Can't see. Where's the elbow? I can't see it. Do I have elbows? I don't even know.
Boom. See, I like it. How the elbow where it falls right on the elbow. It ain't up on the shoulder. It's down by the elbow. That's how your t-shirt's supposed to fit. And we ain't like that. And this ain't the 60s. We ain't the Bonds. Yeah, this ain't
wearing female clothes. This is a man shirt. Okay,
it's a man shirt. Look at that.
Comes down. You know what I mean?
Boom.
Wow, look at
that.
No collarbones. We're not looking at collarbones. No
Nothing.
back hair. We're not looking at back hair. Come on, B.
Nothing.
Tight.
Go to Vintage Rush.
Go to Vintage
Get
Rush.
your t-shirt. Come on, man.
Shirts.
Who cares how much it costs as long as it fit right. As long as people
crazy?
You don't get a compliment. If you don't get a compliment, it ain't worth the money. You don't get a compliment, it ain't worth the money.
You know how many compliments I get rocking these shits, bro? It don't matter where I go. It don't matter where I go, who I'm around, whether they old, young, black, white, female, male, don't matter.
Alien,
you know what I mean? Purple, blue, winged, legless, it don't matter. Listen,
xenomorphs, it don't even make a difference.
It don't even matter. Now you see the bishop, and check out at the bottom that dope the Japanese writing, because this is the manga version.
That writing is where it's at, man.
It's on the bottom of all of them. And okay, so you see the similarity here. So there's going to be a series of these, and these are based on the X-Men, the animated series, the manga version. And the next one coming, yes. So the inside cover of all the graphic novels of the manga of the animated series versions, inside the cover is this. The cable is one. The inside cover. Oh shit! What just happened?
What's up?
I think my monitor should. Hold on, guys.
I thought the way you said, I thought something caught on fire. You was like, oh.
So what I'm saying, there's another one. There's 8 of them. I think there's 8 covers in all. I'm not sure how many he's doing. I'm not sure how many of the covers, how many of the series are going to do. But I know there's at least one more coming, and I think it's Gambit. Dog, I can't wait. All right, so there was a Gambit, there was a Storm, and there was a Colossus, and he did a vote. All right, we did a vote on Instagram. I think it was Storm and Gambit, and they did a vote, and people picked Gambit. So then the finals was now Gambit versus Colossus, and they did the vote Sunday. Last night, I'm not sure who won. I was trying to find out to see what shirt is coming next, Gambit or Colossus. So if he sees it and lets me know while we're here, man, I'll let you guys know. But these shirts, okay, so you know, I want to say, like, these aren't screen printed. Like, this is that puff, this is that thick,
and that's
very
material. Important.
It's very important. I'm serious, man. And the quality of these shirts, you know, it's not like when you go online to 80s, you know, one of these t-shirt, you know, .coms and find the graphic tees, and you just get the regular 30, 20, 30, $40 graphic tees that you see at Walmart, at Spencer's, you know, at stores and internets and stuff like that. They're very cheaply made. They're screen printed. The paint is just flat. It rubs off in the washing machine. You know what I'm saying? You dry it a few times, it's gonna fade. You stretch it like that, it's gonna crack and split. And I'm serious. Like, this is stuff I go through because I rock graphic tees. That's like what I wear. That's just I just been into graphic tees the last few years, and that's what I rock. So I've been a connoisseur of these, and so I know that you really have to be picky, because I can show you some shirts where the sleeve barely comes down to here. Stu, barely comes down to here on the arm. The neck, bro, you can see all it's like both my collarbones and all the back hair is coming out. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm Italian, bro. I'm Italian. I got hair all over, but we don't have to go there. But listen, we don't we you gotta pick your shirts, man, carefully. But what I'm saying, what I'm getting at, man, is if you want quality, you got to pay for it. And I have no qualms, no problem paying a little extra for a shirt that I know I'm going to be able to wear time after time. And it's going to look dope every time. Yeah. Because like these other shirts, you buy these $30, $40 shirts, you get to wear them 2-3 times tops. I don't care who you are. If you don't like your stuff looking faded and you know, misshapen and you know, all of that, like, I like my stuff looking clean and brand new when I put it on. And unless you want to buy a shirt and just, you know, wear them once and throw them away, then you got to pay a little something for your shirt. You know, you got to pay a little extra. I agree, Slade. I hate them, man. It's like like cheap socks. Like cheap socks. I can't stand them.
Very much like cheap socks.
Quitters. Call them quitters. Yeah. They just fall, they droop down, they don't stay up. They're terrible.
He said you call them quitters.
I think I got that off Seinfeld or something. But that's funny. You call them quitters.
Nah, listen, go support the man. Go to Vintage Rush. He also takes from what I hear, requests. I wanted one of his jackets. He was sold out of the size that I like.
Yeah.
You know, that I need. I'm a bigger guy, but you know,
he makes
Reno
the denim
here.
jacket.
Right, through Reno here and some negotiations. He said that if you send him a jacket, you know, he'll hook it up for you, and you pay for it, you get it back, and it's all good to go. So, so I'm gonna be sending him a jacket, and then I'll debut it here on the show, and we'll see. But I just I need to talk to him and see what he can do, or if he'll just make whatever he has or whatever. It really makes me no difference. I just think they're dope. I think they're some of the dopest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, dog. All right. So I just talked. I'm talking to him right now. All right, yo. So he said, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do the Gambit, waiting on the artist to give him the final. And God, I hope he does this one, bro. It's so freaking dope. You can't. I mean, I'm gonna give y'all. This is a glimpse. You can kind of get the idea. Yeah,
that'd be dope.
And what I love, bro, is purple and pink, dog.
Are you talking to him now? Did you confirm the
it's purple and pink,
jackets?
bro.
Did you confirm the sending in the jackets?
Black, that pink on the outside. No. He's talking about that's supposed to be black. No, purple and pink is dope. We don't want that to be black. We want that to be pink.
Which one? The Gambit?
Yeah. What's he talking about? He said supposed to be black, that pink on the outside. What's he talking about? I know he ain't talking about the lettering. Oh, what? The lettering?
Oh, I think I know what he's talking about. I think
Oh, he's talking about the card. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's talking about the card. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Okay,
on that
yeah.
image, I think something is pink and blue.
Yeah, okay. He's talking about okay. I was worried. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm like, what the fuck y'all doing? I'm really trying to. I'm invested, man. I care about these. I care about this series. I want this to be right, man, because he's not doing all 8. That's what I'm sad about. He's not doing all 8. He's only gonna do. I think this is the last one he's gonna do, man. So we got. How lucky would I be to get 3 of my favorite Bishop, Cable, and Gambit? No garbage characters, bro. No characters that is like, okay, it's X-Men, so yeah, okay, cool, yeah, like Rogue, okay, cool, Rogue, or like, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, okay, Colossus is cool, yeah. No, Gambit, motherfucker. That's you might as well talk about Wolverine, bruh. These are top tier. These are top tier members. Top tier, Bishop, Cable, Gambit.
And what makes them even more special is the simple fact that there's only so many. So it'd be rare that you run into somebody with the same shirt as you do. Unless, of course, they order theirs at the same time that you order yours. But that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, man. So there it is, Vintage Rush, at Vintage Rush _ on Instagram. RushXBeyond.com is the website. Check it out. The collectible t-shirts is crazy. It's a whole game. It's the collectible t-shirt is a whole community, bro. Like I didn't even know. It's a whole community, like the comic community, And speaking of the comic community, all right, because we are a comics and hip hop show. We're going to talk about something really dope that's going on. There's a new character in Spider-Man. Spider-Man #7 has introduced a new character named Spider-Boy, which is a character named Bailey. And it's all the rage. It's all anybody's talking about. This new character. So everybody's dying to buy this new comic. Everybody's clamoring to get a copy. I luckily got myself one by the nick of time, but I'm telling y'all, if you can get your hands on one of these, I think it's going to be a big investment. Like this is going to be one of those first appearance comics that there's going to be movies about. This character is going to be in movies. This character is going to be a big character down the road, and you're going to be like, oh shit, I got the first appearance of Spider-Boy. So try to get your Spider-Man #7. If you can see if I can show you guys a picture of the cover so you know it. I think you might still be able to get them for like $25 or something like that on eBay. Remember, they're $3 when they come out. Instantly they went up to instantly they're $40-50. I don't even think you can get like the first print. The second print is now on eBay for $20. The second printing. All right, so if you guys are new to comics, when a comic comes out, like say issue #7 comes out and it's really famous, really popular, and they sell all the copies that they printed up, and people want more. They sold them all, so now they've got to print up a whole new set of them because they sold all the ones they printed, right? So they got to print a second printing. Now, if that printing sells out, which happens a lot, they'll print a third set. I mean, I've seen them go 9th printings on some comics that are super popular. Yeah. They'll keep doing more and more printings, man, and that's when you're like, oh man, well there goes the value. But
well, no, Reno, what they do nowadays is when they do a second printing, and you're right about that. But now when they do a second printing, they try to do something unique. Marvel started it, I think, with Star Wars. One of the Vader comics was like super uber popular, and so when they reprinted it, it was a whole different cover, and the cover actually wound up being better than the original, and people liked it more. So the second printing can sometimes be worth more than the original, depending on
the case. The second printing, sometimes the third and fourth printing can be the one. Any one could be the most valuable one. It'll be like say they do 6 printings, and it may be like the fourth printing just had the dopest cover. They printed a very few of them because they thought that it was over, and it blew up again, and they did a fifth, and then the sixth printing. Well, that fourth printing is now the most valuable one of all the printings, even more valuable than the very first printing. So no, the first printing is not always going to stay and remain the most valuable one. So even if you guys get on there and find that second printing, you still might be jumping on a great investment. It still might end up being the winner in the long run. Stu is exactly right about that. Spider-Man number 7. I'm trying to get y'all a picture of it because it's really a cool looking dude. Here, I can't get this whole big ass picture down here. But
is it Amazing Spider-Man or is it just Spider-Man?
It's just Spidey. I'm going to show it to you guys. There it is. So there it is. So it's Spider-Man. That's the cover. It's Spider-Man number 7. Sorry, Spider-Man number 7, and it says introducing Spider-Boy. And there's the character. There's his new costume. That's not his new costume. That's his costume. It's the new character, Spider-Boy. And that's the first printing. That's what the first one looks like. I couldn't get the comic to put a picture up there for you guys because it's huge. But that's what it looks like. So if you can get that one, you're doing pretty good. I think there was another. There's a couple shots. There's some shots of inside the comic. Who is he? Never seen him before. Which Earth is he from? This guy said, "Huh? What are you guys talking about? I'm from right here. It's me, Spider-Boy." And
now, are there any variant covers?
Yeah, well, yeah. There's a second printing. There's a variant cover. There's different versions. So if you guys just look up, Spider-Man number 7 on say eBay or whatever, you'll find it, and you'll find different versions of it. And they still have a lot. I think, especially as issues of number 7 with this variant cover, even though it just went on sale, they're already, like I said, 20. So the second one's like, I think they're like $60 for like the first one. The second one's like $20 already. And I mean, this just came out like last week. Like, this is instant explosion. The reason, okay, this just happened, guys. This is, a lot of people are going, oh, this is Tosin all over again. All right. If you remember, just recently, Black Panther number 3 came out, and they introduced this new character named Tosin. It was supposed to be the new Black Panther. It was this big deal, and everybody. And now look what happened to Tosin. Where's Tosin? No one's talking about Tosin. It's Shuri this, Shuri that. Tosin just got left in the wayside, and no one cares anymore. And everybody clamored to buy that comic, dude. You could not get a copy, and they were selling them for hundreds of dollars. They were just going nuts. And now, those books, you can't sell them. Nobody cares. Nobody wants them. And so everybody's like, oh, is this another Tosin? The reason that this is getting, some credibility is because I guess the guys at Marvel, the big head honchos, someone, I forget the name, sorry, I'll think of it in a second, said that this is going to be a big character that they're going to focus on. That this is going to be a character they're going to deal with. Like, it's going to be an important character in Marvel. They're not going to just throw it away. Like, it's going to be a big something. Spider-Boy in Dan Slott and Mark Bagley's Spider-Man number 7. The sold out issue will return to shops next month with a brand new variant cover by Luciano Vecchio. A Virgin edition of Spider-Boy co-creator Humberto Ramos spoiler variant cover, And the mystery behind Spider-Man's long-lost sidekick will continue to unravel in the future issues of Spider-Man, and his outrageous origin story will be told this June in Edge of Spider-Verse #3, a story by Slott and Ramos. So that's a book you're going to want to grab. Edge of Spider-Verse #3, because that's going to give us a big origin of this character. So remember, you've got the first appearance of a character, and you've got their origin story.
Yeah.
There's different, right? There's different key issues that you want to collect. Over time, you know, Marvel fans have met a lot of different heroes from the Spider-Verse, right? Miles Morales, Ghost Spider, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Punk, and so many more. Definitely weaved their way into Marvel universe and into, you know, all the fans' imaginations. But I think none of them have been anything like Spider-Boy, not originating from the multiverse at all. Spider-Boy's been here all along and starred in some of the greatest stories in Spider-Man's history, hasn't he? The thing is, what they're gonna do is the gag is, he's like, I've been here. He's like, Iron Man and, like, you know, all the Avengers and Spider-Man. He's like, what do you mean? Y'all all know me. Like, we've had all these adventures together. And they're like, what? And I don't know. They're gonna, like, somehow wedge it in, retcon it in, or the joke is that he's been around the whole time. He's Spider-Man's sidekick. It's wacky. It's really wacky. What did he say? Dan Slott, the creator, said, I can't wait for people to meet Spider-Boy and the unique role that he's going to play in both Spider-Man's world and the Marvel Universe. He said, I grew up reading Spider-Man comics. He's my favorite character in all of fiction. All I ever wanted to do was tell stories with this cast, and it's been the coolest thing ever to co-create some of the characters who populate it. And this kid, this Spider-Boy, is the one I'm most psyched about. Let's see if I can show you that one. Yeah, oh, cool. All right, so here's a picture I got for y'all. This is a dope cover. I like this one. I like it a lot. That's pretty dope. And he's got, see how he's got like 4 eyes, or maybe he's got 8 or 6.
Yeah, because that's the second printing right there. That's the cover. Second printing.
Yep. Yeah, it's dope, man. I like the second printing. So don't sleep on the second print, y'all. It is nothing to sneeze at. That's the second printing by Luciano Vecchio. So shout out to my Italian Pazan. Yeah, those are the 2 covers that are out now. So don't miss your chance to own one of the most talked about character debuts in the last decade. When Spider-Man 7 is going to have another printing, and then Spider-Boy's second appearance will be in Spider-Man #8 on May 3rd. So remember, heroes have first appearances, they have second appearances. Key issues, that's what we call them in the comic collecting community. We call them key issues. That's how you know what comic to collect, right? You probably heard somebody like, X-Men #183. Like, what's dope about that? Well, that's the thing. Like, in Stranger Things, right? So a certain event happens, right, that changes a character, or that changes the universe in some way, the Marvel universe in some way, or just some event that is a big, key thing that happens that's very important. Or it could just be the first time they mentioned a character, first time they saw a character, first time they drew one. A lot of different things could make it a key issue. And then you've got other reasons where, like certain covers. Some comics are famous because of a certain ad that was in the comic. So there's all kinds of shit.
Yeah, like take Free Comic Book Day. They started printing up certain comics now that are one shots or first appearances, or even where a story began. And they're worth a lot. So Free Comic Book Day they made them valuable. They made them something that people want to collect instead of just, a comic you read. You're like, it's nothing. This is a free comic. So, every free comic book, they get you free comics and find out which ones are the valuable ones, and they do it on purpose.
Yeah. And so Humberto Ramos and Dan Slott, it's something about they created this character in sort of a mysterious way, and Spider-Man 7 wraps up the end of the Spider-Verse story that's been running through the series since its debut. And the saga established that any Spider-Man slain with a weapon called the Totem Dagger wouldn't simply die, but they would be severed from the web of life and destiny, which would erase them from existence along with anyone else's memory of them. And so Spider-Man fell victim to this fate, which, kind of what they did to him in the movie, right? Where somebody like his friends don't know him anymore. And then he reemerges as just Peter Parker, who supports the new Spider-Man, who is Spider-Woman, who is Silk, and the new Chosen One in her heroic efforts. But with Silk and her allies victorious, several of the Spider-Man characters who were saved from the Totem Dagger's fate. Peter got his powers back, and everyone remembered him as the Amazing Spider-Man. Spider-Woman and Scarlet Spider also reemerged, and everyone suddenly remembered everything about them. Spider-Boy was the last to return from the Totem Dagger, but no one seemed to know who he is. So this is how they're making it that he's been here the whole time, but the Totem Dagger made everyone forget about him, right? But he's been here the whole time. So like these other characters, and he's popping back like, what? Y'all don't know me? He doesn't understand. So Spider-Man 7 does reveal that Spider-Boy's real name is Bailey. It also confirms that Spider-Boy is from Earth 616, not somewhere else in the multiverse. He's not just from another universe. He's not from another timeline. He's just from 616. Like, he's been here the whole time. And
that right there is what makes it important.
Right. And after returning, Spider-Boy grew frustrated with no one else remembering him, and saying that he's had countless adventures with Peter and Miles Morales, and implying that he made some kind of sacrifice for them. And like, what, y'all really gonna do me like that? Like what I did for y'all? And he flees before anyone can find out more. So why didn't everyone suddenly remember Spider-Boy when he popped out of the dagger, like what happened with Spider-Woman and Scarlet Spider and the rest? And the theory is that Spider-Boy had been in the dagger for a longer period of time, making memories of him slower to return, should they return at all. And so while Spider-Man 7 marks Spider-Boy's first appearance, you guys will have to wait a little longer to find out his origin story, because that will be told in Edge of Spider-Verse number 3 in June. So definitely don't forget that. Because that's going to be another key issue that you're going to want to collect. Let me see. Dan Slott, the creator, said, on the art side, 2 absolute Spider legends are bringing Spider-Boy to life. My longtime collaborator, Humberto Ramos, and the amazing Mark Bagley. The all-new, all-different Spider-Boy of the 616. He's got strange new spider powers, secret ties to dark corners of Spider-Man lore, and a story that's all his own. That is right about to begin. Spider-Man 7 on sale now. Edge of Spider-Verse 3 goes on sale in June.
We'll definitely be there to get.
So, yeah. And there's something involved with Spider-Man and the X-Men. There's Marvel may be teasing Spider-Man joining the X-Men. Big things definitely coming for the X-Men. And it looks like Spider-Man might be a big part of it. On Saturday at MegaCon in Orlando, Florida, Marvel Comics revealed new details about Fall of X. And you guys know I talk about all the time is House of X and Powers of X. And, You know, there was X of Swords, and there's all these different what do you call them, events or eras or timelines or storylines in the mutant, you know, mythos ever since Dawn of X, which was the beginning of this whole new era that we're in now. And before the Fall of X panel began at the Comic-Con, Marvel released a teaser image for Fall of X featuring artwork by Brian Hitch. A list of titles appears along the right edge of the image, revealing what book participating in the Fall of X story, what books are going to be part of it. And there's previously announced new series, returning series, some of the new additions to the X-Men line, but there's a couple surprises that aren't mutant titles. They're not you know, X Comics. They're not X Force. They're not anything like that. And one of them is Uncanny Spider-Man. You know, like Uncanny X-Men. So they got Uncanny Spider-Man. I'm super like fucking excited about this, dude. This could be fucking amazing. Or it could just be total crap, but I think it's gonna be dope. Because you can't lose. Spider-Man, X-Men, you can't lose. And we can infer from this that Spider-Man is involved in the Fall of X, the Fall of X storyline that we knew was coming. I mean, the mutants have had Krakoa, and we know it's been like just this utopia, and everything's been great, and they've been running shit, and you know, they're just on top of the world. And that's just not what the mutants are about. You know, the mutants are underdogs. They're always, you know, getting beat on or chased or whatever. And you know, it just they're never on top for long. They always have these, you know, utopia or you know, the savage land, or they always have these great moments where they've got like this dope situation set up, and it never lasts. And Krakoa, I knew was going to be the same thing, even though it seemed foolproof. It seemed really solid. It seems like there's nothing, like they can't. There's nothing they could do with this. Like the whole world has to bow down now. And I knew Marvel was not going to let that ride, and rightly so. But yeah, so Marvel launching a whole new series to tell, you know, that part of the story, as it seems unlikely that Uncanny Spider-Man is going to be replacing the Amazing Spider-Man in Marvel's publishing line. I think the uncanny adjective has often been used to imply a title's connection to the X-Men, right? The soon to be launched Uncanny Avengers is another example. Which is also cool news, further emphasizing the significance of this new Spider-Man series in Fall of X. I wonder if, no, that's not, I can't. Well, Spider-Man and the X-Men do have a long history of like teaming up in Marvel. You know, in fact, in 2009, Marvel published a mini series called X-Men and Spider-Man.
I remember.
Remember that?
I remember it
and
very well. It was good. It's a good series.
Yeah.
And don't forget that the X-Men showed up in the episode of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Right. And the 2015 Spider-Man and the X-Men miniseries showed Spider-Man serving as a teacher at the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning as well. Most recently, Zeb Wells wrote the Hellions series. If you've been following Krakoa and the Dawn of X stuff, Hellions was one of the titles, and it was dope. And it was sort of early in the Krakoan era before moving on to relaunching Amazing Spider-Man. And since then, Wells has been the architect of Dark Web, a Spider-Man and X-Men crossover event, Dark Web, which, you know, could Wells also be writing Uncanny Spider-Man, once again combining his interest of Spider-Man and the mutants? It seems possible, though we know nothing at this point for sure. Excuse me. There's been some interesting talk about if Spider-Man is a mutant. And another interesting note comes from the current Sins of Sinister storyline, which is set, you know, in a sort of a dark future where Mr. Sinister, you know, his plans have come to fruition. It's kind of like Age of Apocalypse, but with Mr. Sinister. Age of Mr. Sinister, right? Sins of Sinister. And set in this timeline, the miniseries Nightcrawlers followed a group of different mutant chimeras created by combining Nightcrawler's DNA with other mutants.
Like Wolverine.
Well,
they got a Nightcrawler Wolverine.
Yeah, and other mutants and Spider-Man too. One of the chimeras in Nightcrawlers is named Wallcrawler, and is apparently the result of fusing Nightcrawler with Spider-Man. But it's odd that Spider-Man is the only non-mutant DNA that Sinister, who has devoted his entire life to using mutants and their DNA and genetics to his own ends, would use. And, does this mean that Spider-Man is secretly a mutant? And that's why that spider bite gave him powers where it would have just killed anyone else?
I don't think so. I think that maybe Mr. Sinister was such a brilliant scientist that he was able to fuse the two and come up with a whole perfectly good and strange new hominid that he could use.
Well, yeah, and that's what I hope. That's what I hope. But because Marvel is doing some weird shit right now. They're doing weird stuff, and they're doing weird stuff with mutants. And is Wallcrawler's future existence foreshadowing the plot of Uncanny Spider-Man, right? Because they're making this Spider-Man mutant comic, Uncanny Spider-Man. And does this have anything to do with the upcoming shocking Spider-Man revelation? There's some big revelation that Marvel's going to reveal about Spider-Man that they're not saying what it is, but it's huge. And it's involved. It's part of this. So could that be what it is? That's why I'm not just saying like, oh, it could be like, no, there's actual implications behind this. But I just hope not. But that's, again, Marvel's doing some weird stuff, and anything is on the table. But Fall of X is being hyped as a big change for the X-Men. After years of prosperity and basically running shit in the world, a conspiracy is set to bring everything that Krakoa has built crashing down. And it's also an era that will see more of the rest of the Marvel Universe getting involved in mutant affairs with, titles like Uncanny Spider-Man and Uncanny Avengers, Invincible Iron Man, all involved in the Fall of X. Wolverine will cross over with Ghost Rider. There's a Wolverine and Ghost Rider, which is definitely a harken back to the 80s Wolverine and Ghost Rider miniseries.
Yes.
And Fall of X kicks off with the X-Men Hellfire Gala #1 one-shot in July. So that's when we can get a taste of what's to come with a preview in Free Comic Book Day, Avengers X-Men #1, which is coming out on May 6th on Free Comic Book Day, and I can't wait. Definitely
I definitely can't wait for that.
Yeah. There's some dope books coming on Free Comic Book Day, y'all.
Yes, there is quite a few good ones too.
Yeah, they've got X-Men. There's Avengers X-Men #1. There's Spider-Man Venom #1. With the Silver Comics featuring Marvel's Voices #1 and Spider-Man, Spidey and His Amazing Friends #1, which is based on the Disney Junior animated series. The next stage in X-Men, The Fall of X, a pair of stories in the Free Comic Book Day, Avengers X-Men #1 will lay the stepping stones for that saga. And the X-Men masterminds, Jerry Duggan and Joshua Cassara, will do the Hellfire Gala and reveal the surprising fate of Captain Krakoa, which was Cyclops' secret persona. And then artist Javier Gueron joins Duggan for the story that features the rise of Stark Sentinels and that lays the groundwork for an Uncanny New Team book launching later this year.
That'll be out, I think, June. I was just reading about it last night.
Yeah.
June or July. You got Conan the Barbarian on Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
And don't forget Dogman in the League of Misfits.
Hell yeah.
Don't forget that. Don't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
You got Ranger Academy preview.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big Ranger fan. I don't know about the rest of y'all. For
Yeah.
some reason,
Marvel.
I can't
Yeah.
understand why, but Power Ranger comics have always been like man. I don't even know. You go in comic shops, they're on the wall.
Yeah.
They're
People love them.
I
People love
mean,
them.
it did. Yeah. They just did a big thing too with I think it was the Green Ranger. I bought the
I
comic.
think
It was
they're.
like Power Rangers 100, but I didn't read it. I didn't get a chance to read it. But I bought 90. I bought 90 to 100, and
Mm,
100 was supposed to be like a big thing. But I didn't read them. I got them all. I got them stacked, but I just didn't get a chance to read them.
dope.
Yeah. And don't
Yeah.
forget Red Sonja, She Devil with a Sword, number 0.
Yeah, that looks dope.
Yeah.
And Marvel's also promising a preview of Jonathan Hickman and Valerio Schitti's upcoming mystery project, which the first time fans heard about Hickman and Schitti's collaborating together came at San Diego Comic-Con. A little piece of teaser artwork was released and featuring the phrase, "What happens when the powers that be meet the natural order of things?" And the only other key information was that the series would launch in 2023. And since then, we've seen character designs that sort of hint at a project featuring Doctor Strange. And then next up is Free Comic Book Day, Spider-Man Venom #1 by Zeb Wells, which will unleash the full fury of Peter Parker's new Spidey suit and reveal the exciting plans for one of Spider-Man's, most famous foes, Venom. And there'll be a symbiote experiment gone wrong, they said, horribly wrong, and the creation of a terrifying new enemy for Venom in a story by my man Al Ewing, who is the guy that did Immortal Hulk. So he did the horror version of Hulk, which was Immortal Hulk, which was super dope. And I cannot wait to see what he does with Venom. Because
that's a lot. Because Eddie Brock has some type of armor, some type of symbiote armor now that he's gonna be using.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know the deal anymore because his son is Venom.
Yeah.
Too. So
they said something about they resurrected his ashes. I had the preview on my car. I was reading it at work. Somebody resurrected his ashes or something like that. It's a comic. There was a lot of Venom stuff in the preview thing that I read, the Marvel preview. I mean, it was a lot. It was more than usual. Like you said, they're doing a lot of stuff at Marvel, a lot of weird stuff.
There's a lot of shit going
Venom
on with
was
the
one of them.
Venomverse. Yeah,
Yeah, Venom
definitely
was one of them.
Venomverse.
Yeah, Venom, X-Men, Spider-Man. What was another one I saw? Iron Man. What was another one I saw? They're actually gonna do 2 facsimiles. Everybody, if you can get your hands on them. The Gwen Stacy saga where she dies, and I forget which Spider-Man it is, but they're doing the two key issues: the issue right before she dies and the issue when she dies. And they're gonna do facsimiles, and we all know facsimiles they can go up in price. They can be something valuable, later on. So, if you don't have it and always wanted it, I would get it. And if those comics are too expensive for you to get, the originals, facsimiles that do just fine. Tag them and slap them, put
I
them on
get
the
them all
wall.
the time. I love facsimiles, man, because
Yeah, I do too.
like you can get the first appearance of Wolverine. You'll never get a Hulk 181 unless you're gonna spend, $30,000, which ain't nobody over here spending 30 grand on no comic.
Ain't nobody here spending that either.
So
unless we hit the lottery, then I'll treat
20.
you. We hit the lottery, I'll treat you. I got you.
Yeah.
I do have a facsimile of Werewolf by Night when it came out. I got one. And
that one.
I tagged it and slabbed it. Yeah, I tagged it and slabbed it.
Yeah, I got that one. I had the first Deadpool. There's they did the first Moon Knight. Yeah, the first Moon Knight was the werewolf one. What else? They had
I think
another. They did the
they
first
did
Hulk.
they did the
That
first Hulk.
came out.
I didn't get that one. I
Yeah,
wanted that one.
yeah. It's a
I
lot.
got a 181. I got a 181, and
Yeah.
there was another one I got. Worth by Night 181. Oh, I picked up Superman Action Comics. I picked up that
Mm,
first appearance of Superman. I picked up a facsimile of that. I actually sent that off to get it graded like a week or two ago.
yeah.
Um, there's a couple of there's like maybe 2 or 3 other ones I picked up. But when you see them, get them. I used to kind of be against it, Reno, but then I started thinking
Mm,
this is my chance to really own one, like own a
right.
copy of the comic, even though it's a facsimile. It's a chance for me to own it. And it's
Yeah, I
also a chance for
mean,
me to really,
I like
to
how it
really.
looks on the wall. Like you can just have it. Like if you display comics like I do on the wall, I like having facsimiles like that for like on the wall and shit. You know, you can have the comic displayed and have the, it's just cool to have the first appearance because the facsimiles when they do reprints, or it'll say like True Believers or Milestones or it'll have some banner on it and then it'll be a reprint. A facsimile is identical except for the
Identical,
price.
yes. Except
The
for the
only thing
price,
different is going to be the price. They won't put
yeah.
the 35 cents on there, the 10 cents. It's going to say $3.99 or $5.99.
Yep.
But the rest of that comic is going to be identical.
And that could be a
No
good
banners,
thing.
no new logos, no new banners or none of that they
See,
do.
I look at it like a good thing. Whereas, let's say, I don't know, for some odd reason, the originals are hard to find or they're in low demand. The price of the facsimile could shoot through the roof because of the simple fact that people can't get, the real thing, or there's so low of a supply that, a collector wants it and he's willing to pay a pretty penny for a facsimile just to have it.
Right.
Eddie Murphy was just talking about how, I don't know if you ever watched Good Times. You ever see the painting on Good
I
Times
like Good Times.
where it has the people dancing and they're all over?
Yeah,
Well, Eddie Murphy said
it's a famous painting. That's a famous
it
painting.
is. Eddie
It's
Murphy
called
said
the
that
Sugar Shack, I believe. It's called the
yes,
Sugar Shack.
yeah, Sugar Shack. Yeah, Eddie Murphy said he bought that painting back in the 80s or something like in the early 80s or when he first got famous, and he said he paid like a couple $100,000 for it or something like that. And he said that painting now is worth like, I don't know, it's just worth like 15 million or something like that.
Oh yeah,
it's an astronomical price. But he said what got him was, Eddie Murphy said the thing that got him was that a facsimile of the painting, a facsimile of the painting, a replica of the painting, sold for over $1 million.
Right.
And he has the original one at his house on his wall. So he was like, if that sold for like 3 or 4 million, he said, I know mine is worth like 20 times that. Right. He said, I know mine is definitely worth more than what that, but he said, I was just amazed at the fact that the reproduction sold for that much. Like he said, he was just amazed that the duplicate sold for that. I was like, wow. So sometimes people, it's good to buy facsimiles, duplicates, whatever, second printings. Nothing wrong with getting them. You never know.
Before we go, man, well, Wednesday we got, dude, there's so much shit about Star Wars that I wanted to talk about today because it's a lot, but we're gonna just tackle it Wednesday. And it's some of it's great news and some of it is horrible news.
Yes, some of it is. The stuff you sent me was
devastation, bro. Devastation. But there's good stuff to balance it out, so no worries. Cooks and y'all know Cooks, my man Cooks. Shout out to Always Cooks 24 podcast on Instagram. Cooks and I are gonna do a video series, I think on Instagram, maybe on YouTube, something like that, about this Icons on Earth Marvel thing. So stay tuned to that. It's a new series that that came out, I guess, in March, last month, that talks about like behind the scenes stuff with Marvel.
Okay.
But this is by Vice, so this isn't like a documentary that Marvel put together. This is like real behind the scenes shit that they might not want to tell you, kind of shit, you know. Like, so it's a lot, it's deep. So it's a lot of stuff involved that Cooks wanted to show me about, and we're gonna bust that up. So that's coming. But yes, I'm telling you, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So get ready for that. We'll be ready for that Wednesday. Have a good night, y'all. It's 9:00. We've been on for about 2 hours. We had our guest today. Some great guys came over from the MacroVerse, busted it up with us. So go check them out on macroverse.com and deadtown.macroverse.com for the Deadtown joint. And don't forget Vintage Rush for your t-shirt needs. All right, y'all. Stu Dog.
Peace.
We'll see you later, man.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.